right, let's take a look at like just the really basic mechanics of a reload. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to load my pistol because that's the condition yours in. We're not going to play with empty magazines other than this drill. So normally the empty mag gets just dropped. There's one caveat I will make to this. There are guys that treat this type of instruction like this thing is now the devil. Throw it, get it away, run from it. If I understand what's happening, even in training, if I go to check and I realize, oh, that's my mag's just empty and I just found it, I don't whip it to the ground. But I know guys that teach you to do that. No, I'm standing here. I just pulled it out to look at it. I can plus it up. So what did we call this? Yeah, tack load, tack mag. I'm going to tack mag the empty mag into the gun for this exercise because now I'm going to go to slide lock, right? So I'm going to tack mag the empty mag into the gun. So you guys are going to draw. Don't do it now. You're going to put the empty mag in. So what's more important now? What should I put away? So if you don't need your hand, go ahead and put the pistol away first. So I've got a full mag, I've got my pistol. I'll have you guys shoot at target, how about 3? 3. Got it? Yeah, we can. We'll shoot at target 3. Move to the sides if you're looking at my arse, and their target is not, who gives a shit about the target? The holes will be there when we're done. Move to the sides. So watch the orientation of the gun. So, and also notice the, all of the continuity to the same things we've been training. So we present the gun, touch point, gun arrives on target, shot breaks. I recognize that I'm at slide lock. I feel it. I feel that force, when you're shooting, you feel the slide comes back, the slide goes forward. Well, I just felt that it didn't go back forward. So as I feel that, I recognize I'm at slide lock. If I want to make a focal shift, shit, I can see it. I don't need to go like this. I can see it. I dump the magazine there. I don't compress the gun and dump the magazine because now I have to start doing the flippy dippy shit. You guys remember the Magpul videos from back in the 90s? No? Yep. Chris and Steve are both friends of mine, but I make fun of them because they were doing this mag flipping shit because they were just trying to go fast. It was lame, it was stupid, and it still is. So I dump the magazine and I let gravity do what gravity does. Magically it works. Make sense? So the exercise, super simple, sight picture, break the shot, dump the mag, feed a mag, reacquire, break the shot. Drill's not done. I'm going to tell you look left and right. Muzzle level to the earth, not down, not up, level. And if you have a problem, tell us before we continue. When we say it's safe, you're going to bend over, scoop that mag, dominate the space around you. You're going to have muzzles out all over. Set it back up. What's more important? Put the gun away, set my mag back up. I'll say go again, and I will tell you. So this time, I'm going to use an overhand grip. Dump while the mag's vertical, overhand touch, drive the gun, break the shot, scan the line. I'll have you bend over and pick it up. If your mag ends up too far out, that you're going to be walking in front of muzzles, or it ends up behind the line, you find your mag and then you wait. We'll have you pick it up once everybody's holstered. Make sense? So I'm set back up. This time I'm going to use the slingshot. Overhand slingshot. Gun comes up, break the shot, dump the mag, retrieve a mag, slingshot touch, shot breaks, scan the line, find my mag, muzzle level, tack mag. This time we'll use the dominant side thumb on the slide lock. So I'm going to activate the slide lock lever with my thumb. On that, if you're Bob's age and you're shooting a 1911, Bob was always told never use that. It's called a slide lock, not a slide release. Weren't you told that? And there was a reason for it. The metallurgy in these old, not now, but like old military grade guns, the metallurgy, you would wear out and peen that catch, where you'd have to take it into a gunsmith and they'd have to weld metal into that recess and grind it back to a sharp edge. It would eventually wear out. Have any of you worn out your Glock or modern gun doing that? No. So you can do that. You'll be fine. Got it? Dominant side thumb. Gun comes up, break the shot, dump the mag. See that? Touch, scan, muzzle level. Can we use our support side thumb? Gun comes up, break the shot, feed. See that? If you're a lefty and your gun doesn't work that way, that's fine. Now there's some continuity. Who shoots a carbine? Just two of you shoot an AR? Who shoots an AR? That little bolt release, right? If you've got a right-hand grip, mag comes in, thumb goes right to the paddle, right? It's the same thing. So from this position, as that mag goes in, your thumb goes right to the mag catch. See that? So there's continuity there if that's how you train with your AR. Is that how you reload? A lot of 1911 guys do that because it's just in a nice spot. How else could I do this? Gun comes up. Oh shit, I've got an issue. I could now get into a situation where I've got to start using other ways and means of actioning the slide. Make sense? Quick note on the insertion of the mag. Bennett, can you come here real quick? Can you do that eagle scream? Thought it was pretty good. He's a veterinarian. He's like, I don't know. Unimpressed. What's that? You don't know nothing about no velociraptors. Do you guys remember, who's old enough to remember being told never look at the mag during the reload? Who's ever been told that? Who's ever been told that? So this says a lot about how long some of you have been training. For the majority of the Combatives era of pistol craft, you never looked at the load. Starting in the 1960s with Cooper on into the early 2000s. There was still plenty of schools, instructors talking about not looking at the load. And the thought process was that something out in front of you situationally might change in that couple of seconds, and now you lost focus. On the same note, guys were taught never to look as you holstered. Anybody ever been told that? So first of all, you got to learn how to do the thing to do it without looking, right? Yes, no? So you've got to look, otherwise you're just sitting there with a loaded gun trying to do this. The fastest shooters in the world look. What's important now? My gun's empty. What's important now? Stare at the bad guy while you try to put some hair around it and figure out how to get it in, or get the gun loaded. So that argument's moot. Todd Jarrett, anybody know who he is? No? One of the best firearms shooters on the planet. He just won the world rifle shoot at like 66 years old. He's a Southern boy, fit, still in his 60s, runs his ass off. I heard him in the 90s talk about, I just did a podcast with him where I had him tell the story that he used to put paint right here on the inside edge of his magwell. This is in the 1980s. This guy was like top. Him, Rob Latham, those guys were like the winningest dudes at the time. He'd put white paint right here. And this was 1911s or 2011s at that time. And his goal was he'd tell himself, these are stages in USPSA, so they knew, or IPSC at that time, they knew when the load was coming. They had planned the load. So he'd tell himself, see the paint. So he would bring that gun into his eye line where he could see that big blob of paint that he put in there. And then post match or stage, he would analyze and self-assess. Did I see the paint? And that allowed him, if that thing was right up in his eye line, to see the magazine right in. Yeah? So different now, these guns now, even with the bone stock Glock, they've engineered a slight flare, you know what I mean? And like they're making them, I keep pointing at Bob because he's the only one here shooting a gun. When you start your car, do you put the boom, boom,
My favorite car.
right? Start your airplane with the, hello my baby, hello my honey. His gun's old. It's 115 years old. Actually, I just finished a book on John Browning. That's a 120-year-old gun with a 120-year-old cartridge. But ours are over 100 years old too, the 9 mil. So that's pretty cool. You know how we did the earlier drill with everybody on the line with the ready positions? Let's break it in half. We'll go odds first. We'll do it right here at the pink, the stink. All right, face down range, eyes and ears. Present your pistol. Present your pistol in front of you. Retrieve your empty magazine. Your empty magazine should be in your support hand. Finger high off the trigger. Number 1 is the closest one to the front of your body. Number 2 is the next one back, so on and so forth. Make sense? This is just a little nerdy logistics stuff. All right, so on the command of up, you guys are odds or evens? Your odds. You guys are going to hit target 3, 1. You're going to reload any way you choose to cycle the slide. However you do it, do it. Understand? Reload, fire again, so it's 2 total rounds, and then pause. Don't bend over, don't do nothing. Got it? So your gun will be reloaded when you finish. You'll have a hot gun in your hand. Yes? All right, is everybody ready? And up. Listen up, listen up. If your default, relax, let the gun hang. If your default is I shoot and I just drop the gun, or I shoot and I just pull my support hand off the gun, and by default, if you just did that, that's your default, right? You guys know anybody that says things like all the time, right? It's a filler. That's their default when they don't know what to say, right? We've all done that. Or they say right, like Jeremy does, right. What is your default? My default should be on that second shot in my brain. Did I hit? Did it work? Do I need to shoot again? What's important now? All right, swap the line. Swap the line. We'll give both of you a quick look at this, and then we'll continue. That way we're all up to speed. You guys set it up. You guys set it up. Present your pistol. Okay, you guys target 8, 1 reload 1, and then pause. If you missed, stop doing that. Get hits. Up. One thing I don't want you guys doing is getting comfortable around muzzles. Even if it's Z, I ain't comfortable with this fucking muzzle by my head. That's different than, I'm not distrusting him, but I'm not going to like just walk in front of his gun and shit just because we haven't had a bad outcome. Can he make a mistake?
I'm not pointing at you, man. I'm not pointing at you.
So think about, you don't got to be overly, I don't want to say overly cautious. I don't think you can ever be too cautious when you're dealing with loaded pistols. Switch. So this time, everybody, pay attention. We're going to use that slingshot grip. Slingshot, anybody got a CZ75? So CZ75, the slide sits low in the frame. His CZ, that slide sits a little lower in the frame. It's a little thinner. These little pistols like the 365 and some of those smaller guns, there's like a little Beretta, Bobcat, those little tiny guns. The slide's so narrow top to bottom, there's not a lot to grab on with this grip. So this pinch grip maybe is the way to go. So you're going to rotate the gun over, palm up to the sky, up to Jesus, right? And then pinch. And I like to pinch with, I put the slide here. I don't just pinch. I'm not just pinching like I'm trying to pop a zit. I take the knuckle, because this is good and strong, like I'm trying to give you a purple nurple. You know, that's how you guys say it down here, don't you? Yep. Did you get a lot of purple nurples?
I got 2 older brothers. I got a lot of
Okay. Titty twister, right? So your knuckle against the slide and your thumb. That's strong. This is not strong. That's strong, not strong. You see that? Yes, no? So we're going to do that pinch grip. Ready? Some people call it a slingshot. And up. Look left and right. It needs to become habitual for you to be scanning what's going on. You know the exercise, so your goal in training here is, when can I bend over? Is everybody done? Yes, no? Scoop your shit, set it up. Who's not done? Oh, sorry, Kasha. I didn't hear. Set it back up, Kosh. Anybody else that needs to? My apologies. You guys all set up? Manage those muzzles.
Go ahead and holster people when you're done.
Guys, I know that playing with the empty mags is a little bit of a mind fuck. So remember, back under the canopy, go ahead and switch the lines. Listen up, boys. Listen up. Listen up. If you're talking, you ain't hearing. Remember I said mentally you're shifting from running the exercise to admin? So it'll look kind of like this mentally. You guys got your eyes and ears on? Okay, so mentally I'm in the exercise. Okay, admin. I'm now in an administrative mode here. I know I'm just setting the gun up. Of course, I'm being careful and all of that, but I'm no longer executing the drill. Now I'm thinking, set the gun back up safely, and I am still drilling all of these manipulations, right? Okay, you guys, pinch. You guys are evens or odds? Evens. Okay. Here we go. Up. Look left and right. Scan the line. We all set up? We good? Use your voice. If you're still shooting, call out, I'm still shooting. Switch, 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 switch. Come on, guys, keep the talking to a minimum. Let's go, let's go. Pay attention, Tim. Let's go, Tim, listen. Here we go. This time, guys, we're going to use our dominant, so this won't work for everybody. If your gun has a slide lock that you can hit with your dominant side thumb, use it. If you can't, do whatever your favorite load is. Guarantee most of these you can. Is anybody unable to do this? Here's a broken? Oh. What Z's talking about is some of these firearms, so one of our sponsors here, Tango Down, makes these parts that helps with some of these things without hindering. I'll talk about that before we're done today. But some of these guns, you might need to create this situation where the gun is cocked in your hand. You'll see guys do this to be able to actuate these controls, depending on the size of your hand and the control. So you may need to, you'll see guys do a quick little twist so they can access them. Make sense? So dominant side thumb is now going to hit the slide catch. Got it? You may need to slow yourself down. Target partners, you watch the guy on your target or the girl on your target and see if they do it or if they just go on autopilot and do some other bullshit. Understand? So you guys watch and see how they actuate. Here we go. Up. Hey guys, I'm only saying that because Jeremy likes when I say that. Check it out. So we're not giving you anything to do for no good reason. Even the jokes are well planned. Where's your gun at, sir? Gutter man? When you go in that holster, your hand's not here, it's up here. Because if your hand's here, you're covering your hand and arm. Yeah? So get that hand out of the way. The manipulations, as we're swapping these magazines, so for a right-handed shooter, you're going to be holding this in your hand, kind of like that titty twister. Is there a better way? Maybe, but it depends. For most of us, this is going to be about it. These fingers are free. Do you see it? I can take these fingers, catch that mag, and now you may have a gun that this doesn't work so great. Who's shooting a 3.65? So the 3.65 mag release is angled like this. It's like on this sort of a bias into the gun. It's not like this. It goes like this. So you big-handed guys like Mark, you're shooting one?
I'm shooting my AXG, so a little larger grip.
Okay, but it's not about the grip size. It's about the angle that SIG designed that. You may find that your support thumb, you've got one on you? Eyes and ears? Can I see it? So, you got a mag? Or you got an empty? No. No, okay, doesn't matter. So I won't even shoot. So check this out. Instead of this, as I break the gun down, I stay connected with the karate chop, and I just use my support thumb to push that. It might add 1/4 of a second to the load, maybe 1/10 once you're efficient. What I've found, and I've got over 100,000 rounds through these, it's not a braggadocious thing, it's that I've played with them enough that that's the only way I can get the mag to fall free in these reliably. And it's partially because that angle, and it's also because of some of these being too big, or my hand being too big for them. You might find that with a lot of little guns. So that's one point. How we're manipulating these things, we're not doing shit like this, right? I'm trying to keep this to a minimum. And it's that fast, right? It's just that fast. So if you're having a hard time with that, grab the mag. The bullets are going to be, if I put my palm towards the target, the mag will be bullet towards the target. I'll do this one. See that? Yes, no? Yes. So if I'm here, facing the other way, I'm going to pull this out. Well, shit, now. So how I stage the stuff matters, right? How I grab this magazine matters. You know what? I negated this one very important piece. So as I retrieve the new magazine off my body, if the mag pouch is set up like mine, or like a duty or competition rig where the bullets point away from the belt line, I can just simply take my hand off the gun straight to the mag, and the mag comes straight back. If you're the guy with the bullets pointing to the rear, when you do that, it's a minor nuance, but now I need to open my hand so that my palm faces out to get that same angle. And that takes time, and it's a little bit funky to grab like that. You might say, not a big deal. Every fast shooter in the world disagrees, and if you went to any of them and showed them that it would save 1/10 of a second, they'd do it in a heartbeat. If you went to Mario Andretti and said this would shave a second off of your time, he would do it. So that's why I say it that way. So as our hand goes to the gun, index finger is doing what an index finger does. It's going to index. The point of your index finger is pretty much going to the middle digit of your pinky. See that? I'm just taking them together. So that's another touch point that you can practice with just your lower on your pistol. This. Now you got to be careful. You do this shit fast and you'll start jamming your fingers up. So you're going to work this stuff like this. Slow seat. Slow seat. Slow seat. So you feel it go in, and then your hand slips off and you seat the mag. Eventually, this will become so automatic that the gun goes empty and you just feed it in and you don't think about it. Anybody doing any checks as they're going about their day, pulling the mag and looking? Just a quick, like how many are left in there? Yes? good habit to give a little tug on there if you can, administratively. The argument you'll hear is, well, if I learn to tug on that, I'll always do that. No, you won't. I drove my truck at 93 miles an hour today here, and I also drove it up the driveway at 18. Same driver, same truck. Like, you choose if you need to do this. You feel that thing seat, though, as part of your load every time. So seat, and you'll feel the click, and you know if it's not there, you're going to figure it out real quick. Make sense? You guys are on what now? The slingshot? Okay, you guys are on the dominant thumb. Yes? Is that correct? Oh, you both did dominant thumb? Okay, switch. Switch. Switch, 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 switch. We're almost done. Switch, 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 switch. Dominant thumb, dominant thumb, dominant thumb. Here we go. Ready? Ready? And up. Dominate the space around you. Literally, we are telling you, develop the habit of paying attention to what the fuck's going on. What is a very basic symptom of somebody that suffers from PTSD? Hypervigilance, hyper-awareness. Why does that make you feel like shit? And why do these people end up in a really bad place? Because you burn the fuck out. So in this situation, Z will agree, and all the other instructors here that have done it will agree. You do this shit enough, after I'm done with 4 or 5 days like this, I'm smoked for a week. And it's not this. It's because my brain's going like looking. Z, do you agree? Doc, you ever had that? You ever had that happen, Bob? Just from the training where you're paying. So invest the energy now, because the whole point of this is to be alive. Set it back up. Rob gets sick. He gets diarrhea. Here we go. Here we go. It's a Wilson Combat, the EDC. They're really nice 9mm. So you're going to use your support side thumb, just like the bolt catch on an AR. Ready? Up. Are we all done? Anybody not done? Scoop your gear. Want to hear you guys calling out. If a gun's out, listen to me very carefully. If you see a gun out, I should hear a bunch of people say there's a gun out. If you're still shooting, you've got to say, I'm still shooting. Make no mistake, none of you look like a good guy. None of you look like the fucking hero. None of you have some fucking thing over your head that says he's the good person. You need to be able to communicate in a chaotic environment. Switch. Up. 33?
11:40.
43. Okay, so single, I got the slide off my gun, guys, so don't freak out. Single-handed shooting. 2 hands, 1 hand. 2 hand, 1 hand. 2 hand, 1 hand. Different posture, different grip tensions. We'll find different results for different people. I'd like to go back to, so Z and Mick, wherever he's at. You went to Mid-South? So special operations guys don't have some better special operation guy to teach them to shoot. You learn to drive. What's that? Guys that were professional drivers taught them to drive. Guys that were professional shooters taught them to shoot. Yes, they have guys that are like better shooters that like pass on that information, but they go to professional shooters. Mid-South, John Shaw, he was the top shooter, and then found a niche after the global war on terror started, training SWAT guys and special operations dudes. We supply them our lubricant, by the way, which is cool. But guys that go there to learn. And it's like, is he the best shooter on the planet? No, but he was like top 20. Who else does stuff like that? Robbie Latham, Max Michel, all these same names that I keep saying, Todd Jarrett, these specialized units say, come teach us. And over the course of years, you find that it's like If you distilled it down, it'd be like a book this thick. There's no secret, no guys showing up that's just changing everybody's world. In fact, I got a friend right now, I bust his balls. He's got a nice niche traveling around, I won't say his name, teaching precision rifle shit to designated marksmen like on SWAT teams. And everything is related to running around with sandbags and dropping sandbags to get shooting positions. And I always ask him, like, are these cops walking around with 12-pound sandbags? Of course not. Like, of course they're not. So, like, your training is now predicated on something that doesn't exist. Anyway, if we look at, like, these schools, Rogers Shooting School, Shaw, or all these other guys' names I keep talking about, it's all about efficiency, right? Speed comes through three things. We talked about that. Rapid movement, right? You guys saw Z and I running today when I just smoked him on that run, where he's like, oh, my hamstring, Mick. Look at him. He's like, that never happened. Actually, it was pretty neck and neck, but I do got to tell you, I wasn't even trying. You're at 50%? Caps? Z's very fast. For size of his legs are full of horsepower juice. Speed comes through going fast. It comes through efficiency, right? So that load, if we like CG'd the gun out of our hand, the load would just look like this. This is all you'd see if somebody was moving really quickly. There's no extra movements, right? It's just this. Mag falls, new mag goes in, you re-grip the gun. And then it comes through another thing, compounding the movements, right? So the mag drops while your hand's going to the gun. So I don't recognize slide lock, dump the mag, then catch a new mag. I recognize slide lock, mag gets dumped as I retrieve the new mag. Make sense? So the single-handed shooting, I don't need to take my hand off the gun and then create some posture. I should be able to actually run an exercise even like this, where nothing's changing except what's holding the gun. Make sense? If I get rid of half of my control, where's the recoil probably going to go? Where the weakness is, right? Look at the trusses. If we come and start cutting shit out of here and the wind blows, it's probably going to fall down where the support's gone, right? So you will see guys shooting quickly to regain a familiar muzzle rise. You'll see guys, Mike Seeklander is one of them. He pulls the elbow under and steps slightly into the gun. So you'll go from here to here to here. And now the recoil pops straight back up. You really engage the lat and pec muscle, and some guys will pull their shoulder back. Z likes this. He pulls the shoulder back, and I know other guys that roll the shoulder forward. Different strength, different musculature. When I was super injured 2 years ago and I couldn't even tie my shoes, I couldn't even hold the gun with the right hand and shoot it. It would have fallen on the ground. So you know you. I don't know what your different body shit is, but we'll give you a look at it. You didn't get off the ground at all today, right? So ultimately, just so you see where this is going, this is going to be probably by the end of the today, tomorrow, you doing shit like this and firing. You guys did this with me in Oklahoma, right? So it'll be totally cool with you guys. But we've got to manage the muzzle around our body and still hit. We'll probably pull steel out for that, so we're not having to run up and down and paste, but we still want to hit. How much grip pressure? Yeah, so same thing, except now I've lost half of my support. The recoil's not diminishing, I've just lost support. Is it a lot? You could probably shoot at about this cadence on the target you were just on, that little target. Pop, 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 about that fast with one hand. It's not going to be pop, 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 but pop, 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 and you'll still get a sight picture. But you will have to get stronger behind the gun. We're going to expect you guys during the exercises to maybe shoot targets as far away as 25 or 30 yards with one hand. Good, that makes you better. You'll do it with your support hand. You'll do it with your strong hand. As we're transitioning, we're not ever losing positive control of the gun. This is not positive control of the gun. I will hand the gun to my other hand, and I am not doing this. I'm not starting with my finger in the trigger. More than once I've seen this happen. Boom. so the finger goes high to the frame. We get a sight picture when we shoot. Make sense? Who's not shot single-handed? So we've all shot one-handed. So this will be easy peasy. What do we got, 15 minutes? Why don't we clear our guns? We'll do some dry fire on the line before lunch. We'll eat, and then we'll at least be prepped for the next range session. Z, you got anything to add to that back here?
Training gun here, right? So if my slack's not out and I start doing this, and people call it anticipation, like, and you are anticipating to some degree. I don't know if it really has anticipation per se. Yeah, it's not really me anticipating where I'm kind of like pushing into the gun in any kind of form or fashion. It's just, like Mick said when we had us do our palms to the sky yesterday and move our fingers, your fingers are just built to help each other. They're all together, like they will help each other out. And so it's natural. So you're not gonna naturally isolate each finger. But if I squeeze them, I can still move pretty fast. Some people say this might cause trigger freeze. You heard that, where you're squeezing your fingers so tight and now this finger can't move very fast. But especially one-handed, as long as I squeeze these fingers, meat slack out. See, I'm holding the gun. You can't knock this gun out of my hand. But I still hadn't taken all the slack out. So I feel like I'm holding the gun securely, but I haven't removed all the meat slack from the fingers. And now, slack is out. And the gun, this is a very heavy trigger for this little training gun, but it's not moving very much because I've took all the slack out. If it's reduced, you see how they want to help me. Guess where the shot's going to go when the gun is down and left? The shot's going to go somewhere down and left, not where you want it to go, right? Or where you're aiming. Make sense? So Mick will talk about this as we do that one-handed stuff, but it's really just exactly what we said yesterday. Hold the gun tight. Don't move it when you press the trigger. But you got to be intentional and focused on holding the gun tight with everything that's connected to the gun, or else the slack is allowed to move the gun. Questions on that? We can even dry fire that a little bit, see if you're going.
Like I said earlier, I don't know anybody in here's limitations. I never worked with any of you privately. I don't know your health history. I want you to move within your own limitations. That said, even though I don't want you obviously to injure yourself, you're gonna have to challenge yourself a little bit because we're gonna be moving up and down on the range with live firearms in the not too distant future, okay? So be smart, don't hurt yourself, but also challenge yourself. Good? If you get stuck on something, breathe. Fill the bucket, control the exhale. You're in charge of your own experience. Good? All right, let's circle up. Circle up, fingertip distance. This makes it easier for me to see everybody. Everybody have a nice, full, warm stomach right now. Probably the last thing you want to do is be out in the sun with me, moving around a whole bunch of up and down, but that's what we're going to do. Let's reach up. Inhale, exhale, touch your knees, shins, or toes. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, touch your knees, shins, or toes. That's a high motivation sound effect. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. All right. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna step your right foot back. Don't do it yet. When I say, you're gonna put your right foot back and then you're gonna put your right knee on the ground. You can use your hands if you need to, hand or hands, okay? Then I'll ask you to stand up. Then you put your left knee on the ground. Use your hands if you need to. Then I'll ask you to stand up. It's gonna be as simple as that. All right, awesome. Put your right knee down. Use your hands if you need to. And up. Left. Up. Right. Up. Left. Up. right, up, left, up. Great. Everybody's good? I hear some knees cracking and shit. That's okay. That's called mileage. All right? Now you're gonna take your gun hand, use your pointer finger. No guns out, okay? Pointer finger. This is called high port, right? So we're gonna have this gun high next to your head. You can put your thumb, you can touch your thumb to your head if you want. You're gonna keep this. We're gonna do the same exact thing. So we're gonna have your finger pointing to the sky no matter what we do right now, okay? Everybody understands? Yes, okay, awesome. Keep your finger to the sky. You can use your other hand to help you if you want, okay? Right knee down. Up. Keep it pointed up. Left. Up. Yep. Right. Up. Left. Up. All right, relax. Shake it out a little bit. Take a deep breath. Let it out. I hear one person doing it. Deep breath in. Let it out. In. Out. Awesome. All right. Right knee down. Don't worry about your hands. Put your right knee down. You're going to take your right foot and swing it in. Yep, right foot in. Put your right hand down. Sit down on your butt. Keep your hand down. We'll call that a post. Keep your post down. Push into your post. Get back up on your knee. Swing your foot out. Stand up. Put your right knee down. Swing your foot in. Put your post down. Sit down on your butt. Keep your post down. Come up. Swing your foot out. Stand up. Left. Left knee comes to the ground. Put your post down. Swing your foot in. Put your butt down. Yeah, don't plop. Control it. All right? Notice how this front knee is still bent? Front knee still bent? Keep your post. Push into your post. Come up to your knee. Swing your foot out. Stand up. Put your left knee down. Foot in. Post. Down. All right, everybody go ahead and take a full seat. Go ahead and take a full seat. Go ahead onto your back. Find someone to look in the eyes through your legs. Just kidding. Not me. Not me. All right. Squeeze your belly, look through your knees. Squeeze your belly so you can look through your knees. Squeeze your belly so you can look through your knees. Put your right elbow and your right knee down. Your right elbow and your right knee down. Sit up. That's it. Don't make it fancy. So your right elbow and your right knee are down. Everybody can see what's in front of them, yes? Great. Go back down to your back. Make sure you can see between your knees. Left elbow, left knee are down. Left elbow, left knee are down. Push into your legs and your elbow so you can sit up. Everybody can see me right now? Yes? Go back down. Go to the other side. Back down. Go to the other side. So now we're on the left. You're on your elbow. And back. We're on the right. Very good. Bring your right hand up so you're on your post. Everybody's on their right post? Yes? Bring your right knee underneath you. Swing your foot out. Stand up. Left. Swing your foot in. Put your hand down. Bring your foot through, take a seat. On your back. Put your two hands together, make a little finger gun. You sit up high enough so that you can point your finger gun between your knees. Roll onto your right side. Point your finger gun between your knees on your right side. Use your dominant hand to be a one finger gun on your right side. You're on your right side of your body. Right side. Very good. Keep your finger gun pointed downrange. So I'm downrange. Everybody should point their finger gun at me. Roll onto your left arm. Keep your finger gun pointed downrange. Get on your left post. Keep your finger gun pointed downrange. That's at me. That's at me. Awesome. Bring your left knee up. Swing your foot out. Everybody's still pointed, right? This is just a finger right now. We're literally going to do exactly this while we shoot stuff. Okay? That's why we're doing this. Put your hand back down. Keep pointing your finger at me. Swing your foot in. Put your ass on the ground. Go down to your elbow. Drop back. Don't point your finger at your knees. Bring your hands together. Awesome. Go to your right side. Now for most of you, this will be offhand. So now your left hand is pointing the gun downrange. So you should be pointing it at me. Push into your right elbow and sit up. Keep pointing the gun at me. Onto your right hand. Keep pointing your gun at me. Bring your knee underneath you. Swing your foot out. Stand up. Shake it out. The first time I came to this was like a big eye-opening thing for me. I had stood in front of paper targets before with friends and stuff and gone to the range and like stood in front of shit that didn't move and I didn't need to move. And then when it was like, this guy needs a tourniquet and I have to do this and then pick it back up and then move over here and Mickey's yelling at me because I fucking didn't do the right thing or I shot the wrong amount of times and I had to put a tourniquet on myself and there's smoke and then somebody's shooting a rifle and shit, then you realize how important it is just to have basic movement because it's a box that's checked. So if you find that you're having trouble transitioning between sides of your body or getting up and down off the ground very well without much help, there's like some basic fitness markers that you can work on so that you make sure you have enough mobility, because in the real world there's no guarantee that everything will happen like right here. They're just gonna stand right in front of me and everybody that gets hurt will do so in a chair that's right fucking next to me where I can do a quarter squat and help them. You see what I'm saying? On the left side because I'm left-handed, because left is better. Get to your butt. Go to your back. Don't point your finger gun at your knees. Point it at me. Make sure you can sit up enough to see me. If you can't see me, you need to squeeze your belly tight. Go onto your right side. Switch hands. Your right arm's injured now. Switch hands. So now you're on your left. Get onto your elbow. Get onto your hand. Get to a knee. We're in our lunge. Get that foot out. Keep it pointed at me. Up. Bring it to port. Awesome. Right knee comes back down. Foot goes in. Hand down. Down to your butt. Point that gun down range. Onto your back. Switch hands. Now it's just your right hand. Now it's just your right hand. Onto the left side. Left elbow. Left hand. Left knee. Foot out. Stand up. All right. Holster it. Ah! You guys are killing it. Everybody feel good? Feel all right? Yeah? Feel really good? Good. Right knee down. Left hand finger gun. Let's do left hand finger gun. Good. Right hand down. Only cool people use their left hand. Onto your butt. Onto your back. Left-handed finger gun at me. Both hands. Both hands. Onto your left side. Right hand. Right elbow. Make sure you don't point your gun at yourself. Left elbow. That's my bad. I wasn't thinking about what side was awesome. So we're on the left elbow, left hand, left knee. Face the target. Up. Great. Let's go to port. Right knee. Point it at me. Switch hands. Right hand down. Take a seat. Both hands. Right hand. Both hands. Right hand. Left hand posts. Ah, Simon says you're out. Come up to your left knee. Face the target. Both hands. Left hand. Both knees down. Left knee up. Right hand down. Right foot through. All the way to your back. Both hands all the way to your back. Now both hands, both hands, both hands. Keep sitting up, keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. It's not over yet. And right elbow, left hand is the gun. On the right elbow, left hand is the gun. Right-handed post. Right knee. Right foot out, both hands. Come on up. You can use your hand if you need to, okay? Go ahead and put your gun away. What's the most important thing that happens during that whole thing? Exactly, muzzle control happens, okay? Now, Mick and Z will go through some safety things. There will be opportunities where if you get stuck, you can set your pistol on the ground, safely facing downrange, and then you can pick it up, okay? But we need to get in the habit of, I have to be able to move my body how I need to, up and down, because we are gonna be sitting like this shooting. Those of you guys who've been here before know we're gonna sit like this and be putting tourniquets on ourselves and others, and then have to get up like this, okay? If you found today that this is like a bit of a wake-up call for you, and you're like, oh shit, the more we do this, I am having a hard time, the easiest way to solve that problem without doing some weird contrived exercise program is to just find a reasonable jiu-jitsu school near you and then get up and down the ground, from the ground, because you have to, right? Learn some grappling. You have to be able to get up and down from the ground as part of the environment. Okay? Make sense? Any questions? No? If you found that something hurt when you did that, you're like, shit, I didn't know my back was like that, or damn, if we're gonna have to do that on the range, I might have to take my knee into consideration. Now you have better information. Make sure you share that with Z or Mick before we get to that evolution. Don't wait until you have a loaded gun in your hand and go, oh shit, I can't get up. Make sense? Okay, let's go to the pavilion. Thank you.
Does everybody hear me back there? You guys good? All right. So a little bit about me. So I like to share who I am, just so that you guys understand who I am, where my background comes, and why I'm in front of you guys. I do that for a couple of reasons. One, I identify as part of the LBG community, and a lot of people find that very hard. Little brown guy, all right? So, not messy. Everybody like, oh. I know how I look, and it's as crazy as it is. There's a lot of times, you know, people find out who I am, and they're like, damn, like, I didn't know that about him. And it really adds to the credibility of what I'm about to teach, all right? So I grew up really poor. My father was on drugs. He ended up passing away from heroin. My mom is blind, so she couldn't work. Literally never had a bed until I joined the Army, and the Army was the first time I actually had 3 meals a day. So I ended up joining in 2000, a year before 9/11. So it was like you go in to get college money, and it's like, surprise, real life, all right? I was fortunate early on in the career. I was able to switch over to Special Forces. I became an 18 Echo, which is a communication sergeant. And then I got assigned to the best group ever, better than Z's group, 7th group, where we handle Central and South America, everything south of the border. So I'm young, stud, ready to go, and I get to my group. I'm like, Sergeant Major, ready to work. He's like, hope your bags are packed. We're going down south. And I was like, yes, Colombia, Chile, Peru. I need a girlfriend from each one of those countries. He's like, nope, South Afghanistan. I'm like, Afghanistan? I was like, walked into the wrong company, like wrong group. So I was fortunate to be on one of those teams that deployed multiple times to Afghanistan. I had another Green Beret killed in front of me during a firefight. That really pushed me into wanting to become a medic. So I went back and reclassified as an 18 Delta Special Forces medic. Volunteered to go back again to Afghanistan. Got into a 16-hour firefight, ended up with a Bronze Star. All these crazy adventures since. 2011, I found out I was allergic to bullets. Almost got taken out by a suicide bomber. So I was like, okay, it's time to get out. After 11 years, came out, and I found out being a little brown guy is not the easiest thing, especially when all you have is a high school diploma and a Green Beret. So I went back, started learning. I started creating programs just like this for South America, the Middle East. I created a flight medical program for them, and I started doing survival medicine, things like that, high-risk capture stuff, working with different agencies. And then I went back to school, got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and eventually became a medical doctor. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm actually leaving the medical world to become a counselor, to go talk to people. Only because after many, many years of being a doctor, it's got its pros and cons. So I'm not coming to you as a medic. I'm coming to you both as a medic who has done this on the battlefield and a doctor who does this on a regular basis in a hospital, all right? That's why I'm open to questions. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to dispel any disbeliefs or any doubts and stuff like that, okay? And I love it because I try to keep it real. And when I go to give conferences and I get up there, people are like, oh, IT's here. And I'm like, IT, motherfucker. It's like, and I apologize for my language, but and it's like, I'm the guy that's going to give the class. And they're like, well, you got a tattoo, man. You got a headband on. You look cool. But that's it, all right? Number one thing, like, I get it. Like, anything in the classroom is going to be boring, all right?
Great way to start.
No, but life is hard, but life is harder when you're stupid, right? No, I'm teasing. But what I'm actually teaching you guys is honestly going to help, hopefully, save a life. You guys don't know how many times I get calls at 2 or 3 in the morning, and it's like text messages, and I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, damn, what the hell? And people are like, hey, I just had to use what you trained, because I train other companies. I train police officers, fire rescue. I work with security, and I get it all the time. And I love it, because if we could save one life, that's it. And this was a hard year for me, to be honest. Actually, you could ask Mickey. I almost didn't make it this time because my brother was actually murdered at the beginning of the year, all right? And, you know, it's life. Life happens. And, you know, and I share that with you guys because I think to myself, if someone was there, would they have done something? Would someone have stepped up, you know? And obviously we can't change the past, but what we can do is, you know, remember those that we love, hopefully train as many people as we can, and make it better for others, you know what I mean? Because I know that what you guys are going to learn today, I pray to God you never have to use it. I really do. But I want you guys to understand it, okay? I know we had some nurses, doctors in here. I apologize for you guys right now because you guys are going to be like, oh, man, like, I can't believe you're saying that. Like, oh, shit. You know, like, you're going to probably want to punch me after this. But I almost ask you to forget what you've learned as far as conventional medicine. We are not here to learn conventional medicine. And that was a hard lesson for me to transition from, you know, doing battlefield medicine and going through medical school and even going through surgery and saying, hey, why can't I do this? And it's like, there's a difference between the OR and the streets, a big difference, all right? And it's very hard for practitioners to sometimes see that because, you know, we get caught up with like, oh, wait, this is the protocol. This is what I learned. I got a master's degree. I got a doctor's degree. It's like, I get it. But just got to see it from a different point of view, all right? Anybody here not taken a CPR class before? No CPR? Never taken a CPR class? All right, so, okay, good. So majority of y'all have taken a CPR class, right? Awesome, so you guys know all the numbers, right? How many breaths, how many respirations, compressions, to how many minutes, all that stuff? What, you remember that? All right.
15-2.
For who?
Huh?
For who?
Oh, for adults.
All right. If you go down, make sure it's not near him. All right. Yeah, again, you guys are going to see. There's essentially 6 rules. 3 rules that I live by and 3 rules that I try not to do, all right? Number 1 of those is math in public, all right? So never math in public. Once you start getting into numbers, man, you want to see everybody go to sleep, you'll go to sleep quick, all right? So like I said, it's really hard to try to get everybody to take you serious when you don't have a lot of letters behind your name. I get it. So that's why I kept going and going. Now I have I have a doctorate. Actually I started my second doctorates last year, and I finished my second master's this year. So, but I do all of that because, again, when I get in front of people, I want to make sure that what I'm teaching you is legit, that I'm actually giving you information that's real. It's not just something I read out of a book. Everything, like I said, I've done it. I'm actually an educational partner with the TCCC committee, so I actually send information to them. They give me information, and we always keep in touch with all our educational partners to try to make the training better. American Heart Association, I'm an instructor for them for ACLS, BLS, and PALS. So all of their courses, their heart service courses, I can certify everybody in that, from your lifeguards and babysitters all the way to your cardiothoracic surgeons and neurosurgeons. All right. Same thing goes for the American Red Cross. I'm a licensed provider for them. I could train you in anything and everything from Red Cross. All right. So just kind of a couple things. I know Mick said there's not a test, but I will be emailing you guys a little 10-question thing on advanced medical mathematics. So please, keep an eye out for that. And I'll mess with you. Everybody's like, oh shit, he just said no math in public. All right. You have to draw that. I read this once, and it really stuck with me. There's a point in the battlefield where the medic becomes the most important person. These are lessons learned in blood. And that's kind of what, every time I teach this class, it's lessons learned in blood. And I'm going to be honest with you, what I'm sharing with you guys took me many years of therapy in my own sense to be able to share with you, and I don't do it out of wow, shock and awe, or trying to impress you guys. I do it because, again, I hope that you don't ever have to use it, but if you do, you kind of mentally prepare yourselves, all right? So that way you guys have an idea of what is real, because everybody thinks that freaking taking a course, you're going to be John Wick and you're going to go do all sorts of great stuff. I jumped out of a plane over 100 times because we were airborne. Ask me how many times I was scared. 9,900 fucking times, like every single fucking time I was scared. But that's the thing. When someone's shot in front of me, how many times did I stop and say, oh shit, practically almost every single time. Even to this day when I do procedures, it's like, oh shit, like it's okay to be afraid as long as you know that that's part of the natural process, all right? So I'm gonna be sharing a couple of things, some videos that are a little bit disturbing. You might see someone dying or someone getting stabbed or shot. If your virgin eyes can't handle it, just close them, look away, all right? I'm not doing this to be cool or show something fun or anything like that or trying to impress you guys. It's just all for learning, all right? So, introduction to medicine. Anybody here? So I had nurses, I had doctors, any paramedics? No prior paramedics or anything like that? All right. I am okay with you guys taking notes. I'm okay with you taking pictures and videos. But at the end of the day, if it was my choice, I'd prefer you just sit back and relax and take this almost as a bit of entertainment, all right? Because if you're calm, cool, collected, and you pick this up, it's going to be a lot easier than trying to memorize things. Sir, when was the last time you took that BLS class?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. All right, so 10 years where you could have killed somebody now. Teasing. Who's taken the most recent CPR class? Who's taken a class within the last 6 months? All right. Pretty intense. You remember your numbers? Yeah. And I say that because I've been teaching ACLS and BLS for over 15, 20 years now. And it's tricky because they teach us as instructors to put out the numbers. 30 compressions to 2 breaths for every adult, 15 to 2 for children, respirations first for someone that's choking, drowning, all these things that you have to memorize. How many of us go around with the list that we've memorized? Nobody, right? What shoe did you put on first this morning? Your left one? Yeah, some of you guys have to stop and think, like, oh shit, like which shoe did I put on? Because you've done it so much, it's become a habit. So my first introduction to medicine is, what is this? Huh? McDonald's. All right. One thing on their menu. Big Mac. One thing on their menu. Fries. One thing on their menu. Very specific. One thing on their menu. Nuggets. One thing on their menu. McRib, all right. One thing on their menu. Ice cream cone. What? I've never been to one that had it working, but I know they have it. All right. You guys back there, one thing on the menu. Hot fudge sundae. All right, hot fudge sundae. All right. How hard was that? In like literally like 30 seconds, we created half their menu, okay? I want you to stop and think. When was the last time you ate at McDonald's? What's the nearest one by your house? Can you guys picture it? Can you see it? How crazy that a simple design, just an M, a yellow M on a red background, can trigger all of this, right? It's not like you walk around with a list, right? You know, the double quarter pounder with cheese guy. It's not like you have this freaking on your phone, like ready to, you already picture it, right? You're like, hell yeah, like I could see that. Yeah, and that's what I want. That's how comfortable you should be with medicine by the end of this course, all right? Where you're not even thinking, you're like double quarter pounder with cheese. Send it. Hell yeah, all right? That's how good I want you guys to be. The way I do that is I ask you guys a question. Now, I want you guys to start thinking about it before you start spewing all sorts of random shit. But what is the most important organ in the body? Your brain. Your brain. So we have a philosopher, all right? Let me see who guy with glasses there. Heart. All right. Romantico. All right. Bill, who I confused for other Bill. Yeah, no, I'd go with heart also. All right. Another Romantico. Back hat guy. Heart. Romanticos. All right. Girl with purple hair. Heart. A lot of Romanticos in here. Yeah, go for it. Ooh, Jeffrey Dahmer, motherfucker. All right. Skin. All right. I like it. All right. Gentleman right here. Heart. A lot of Romanticos. All right. No one's going to say kidneys or anything. You got anything? Anything special? I go with brain. Brain. All right. A philosopher. So two for like 15. All right. So I hate to say it, but there's always winners and there's always losers. So there has to be one. Okay. So I'm going to make it easier for you since no one wanted to pick kidneys and livers. That was me before I got my COVID vaccine. So, all right, 50-50 show of hands. Who are my philosophers? All right. You see, it wasn't just the two that spoke up earlier. All right, who are my romanticos? Ooh, we kind of lost our romanticos there now. All right, so unfortunately, or fortunately, no, there is one. There is one. It's the brain. But why is it the brain? Who's brave? Oh, did someone just say that? That's like the so Gen Z answer. Computer. Oh, that is definitely a 70s answer.
The brain doesn't really, like your heart supports the brain just is the end user.
So it's like alimony, child support. You support the motherfucker, right? That's it. I like it. I like the reasoning. I got some hands over here. All right. Cool guy with the hands. What you got? What's your brain? Why is the brain the most important?
It's like the center of your body beside the heart. It's what makes you move.
That's deep, man. I love that. All right. Doc. Why is the brain the most important organ in the body?
The brain tells the body can't function without the brain.
Man, I love it. You guys come up with the coolest answers. Yeah.
Can't you be like brain dead and still be alive?
Okay, all right. You see, now you're reasoning against why it's not the most important. I like that. We always have to question. Don't just believe all the bullshit people tell you, man. I mean, I could be a bullshitter, all right? I'm giving you guys a license to bullshit, all right? That's what, from now on, I'm making you guys a bunch of dicks. So when you guys go out and take a class, be like, oh, I call bullshit on that. Mickey gave me a bullshit card on that one, all right? That's the idea. Question everything, and I love it. But there's a reason why, all right? I'm going to show you why the brain is the most important organ in the body. I have to be fair, boy or girl, whatever you like, okay? So I don't judge, judgment-free space, all right? So you go to the gym, get your swole on, 99, 1,000, hell yeah, right? What happens? What happens when you go to the gym and you get your workout on? Endorphins. All right, so you see that cutie coming in, boy or girl, again, I don't judge, all right? And you do that, give it that extra little swole, right? What happens? Your body's, look, pimp, we got this much gas and you need this much. I'll lend you some credit. I'll let you burn that energy just so we look good, right? But it's going to cost you. You're going to feel it tomorrow. What are you going to feel tomorrow? Soreness, right? Like, oh, man, it was worth it though, right? Hell yeah. All right. Why do we get sore from going to the gym? Muscle what? Lactic acid buildup. Our body, when it doesn't have oxygen coming in or energy that can be phosphorylated from oxygen, it has to borrow it and go through another pathway, going from aerobic, needing oxygen, to anaerobic. The problem is you're going to produce an acid called lactic acid. But that means you can survive without oxygen for a certain period of time, all right? Every single organ in your body can do that. They can borrow time. They can say, you know what, I don't have enough oxygen right now, but I'm cool. I can keep going for a little bit. That's why we're able to do transplants on a lot of things, except for one. What organ is that? The brain. The brain has to have direct flow and continuous oxygen and glucose to stay alive. If it doesn't have that, brain death starts at about 3 minutes. By 10 minutes, congratulations, you are no longer with us, right? Well, unless you're like one of those weird record-breaking people that can do random shit like that, right? But that's why the brain is the most important organ in the body. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to be sore the next day. You're building up that lactic acid. The brain doesn't have that luxury. It needs to have constant blood supply. If not, you're going to expire, okay? So let's take something as simple as BLS. Everybody here said they took a CPR class, right? Well, majority of you did. Majority. What's the first thing they teach you when you go into a CPR class? Yeah. You walk into the room, seam safety. Am I safe? And then you come up to a patient, and what's the first thing you do? Okay, how do we check? No, yeah, you don't want to get sued right away, right? like, what do we do? Hey, buddy, you with me? You want to call out to them. When I call out to somebody, hey, buddy, what organ am I testing? Hearing, which is connected to the brain, right? And he doesn't answer. He's unresponsive. Then I go to gentle touching. Hey, buddy, you with me? Maybe a little shake. What organ am I testing there? Sensation, touch, isn't that the brain? Then I could take it up a notch, right? Freaking sternal rub, finger pinch, toe twist, whatever you want to do, purple nurples, whatever you guys want to call it, right? What organ are we testing there? You mean to tell me, before I do any intervention, I'm going to check one organ 3 times? Hell yeah, because we understand, or we used to understand, but we forgot. You know, a lot of the new schools, a lot of new training, they don't teach you this because half the professors don't even know that. They don't remember, or they were never taught like that. You got to learn the fundamentals, all right, the foundation of it. I'm going to test the brain 3 times before I even do a pulse. And what am I testing with the pulse? The heart. So you mean to tell me I'm going to test the brain 3 times and then the heart? Hell yeah, because it's more important. Because if the brain's not there, why am I even wasting my time? I've got other patients I've got to save, all right? So it's a little tricky way of thinking, but blood is very important. We need it. We need to save it, all right? Because it's going to carry everything we need. So we're going to be going over a couple algorithms. If there's one thing I want you guys to remember from this whole conference, it's the algorithm or the word MARCH, which stands for massive hemorrhage, airway, respirations, circulations, and hypothermia or head injuries, which we're going to keep drilling throughout these next couple of days, so you will get it at the end, all right? So when the brain doesn't get oxygen, a few things happen. When it doesn't get energy, it starts to shut off, right? That's a protective mechanism. How many times has this happened to anybody here? Anybody ever had this happen to them? Stay up at night watching TV and you're like, ugh, pass out and you're like, wake up. Ugh. What happens when you wake up? Doesn't it give you that little jolt of energy? And you're like, oh, shoot, yeah. Heart rate goes up a little bit just for a split second. That's because as our heart rate, blood pressure go down, our body thinks it's dying and it's going to shoot out energy, all right? So the brain being so important the way it is, it has a defense mechanism when it doesn't get enough energy. What is it going to do? It's going to steal it. Fuck no, bird. Not today. Not today, right? That's the brain. It's a very greedy, very spoiled little kid, all right? What do I mean by that, all right? So if the brain at any time is lacking oxygen or energy, it's going to take it from everybody else. It's going to say, you know what, kidneys, you don't need blood today. Bam, that's my potato chip. Or, you know what, lungs, not today. Bam, that's mine. We call that shunting. That's where the blood vessels close off to bring blood back to the core to specifically feed the brain. All right? Yeah.
Is that an autonomic response?
Autonomic response happens naturally. Whenever the brain doesn't get any blood flow, it has to be true for the opposite. All right? So if we have too much blood flow to the brain, it's got to have a way of pushing it out, right? So think about it when you go out to the sun or you're outside for a couple of minutes in the sun. What happens to your body? You start getting sweaty, you start getting hot. What happens to your face? Or when someone blows you a kiss, a little besito, what happens? You get what? Flush, right. Flushing is vasodilation. That's blood going away from the core, all right? So that's an example of the opposite of blood coming back in, all right? When anybody lives really, really cold, like snow cold? Yeah. All right. What are the first parts that get frostbite? Yeah, all those things that are furthest away, right? All those will get frostbite first because whenever we're exposed to something stressful like that, it brings it to the core to keep it warm and to keep it safe, right? So all those are going around with no blood flow, so those are going to get damaged faster, all right? So when you start to understand that concept, which it looks like you guys are understanding it, it's easier to understand why we do certain things, all right? So anytime the brain is not getting enough oxygen, it's going to steal it from somebody else, all right? Now my question is, what's easier? We're having a birthday party or we're having a get together and I put out a bowl of chips and I put this plate of cookies out and you want to grab one, but I tell you, no, not until the party starts, but you still want one. What are you going to get away with stealing? Chip? Why? There's more, right? There's a lot of them. There's no way I'm counting the chips, right? Yeah, but I guarantee you those cookies are counted, right? So I hate asking this in a room full of gentlemen, majority gentlemen, but what's the biggest organ in the body? All right. Who said skin? All right. Thank you for keeping it PG, but all right. So you're right. Yeah. So it puts the lotion on the skin or it gets the hose again. So typically when the brain is not getting oxygen, it's going to steal the blood from the biggest organ first, being the skin. Wait a minute, Mickey. You mean to tell me that if someone lost a lot of blood and they don't got enough blood going to their head, that means they're going to look what? Pale, right? How's their skin going to feel? Warm or cold? Cold, all right? Is it going to be dry or wet? Have you ever looked up the term for shock or someone that's lost blood, either neurogenic, cardiogenic, septic, or cardiovascular? Any of those shocks, they're going to describe cool, clammy, diaphoretic. Aren't those just fancy words of skin without blood? Yeah. Alcohol, upper or downer? What happens the next day after you went out on a night drinking and you go to work? God damn, you had a rough night, didn't you? Yeah, you look like shit, right? Why do you think we look like shit? Our blood system's down, so that means blood is flowing less. So that means we're trying to bring everything to the core, so you're gonna look like shit. All right, that's why a lot of people can pick up on that. A lot of people are a lot more sensitive to things like that. They'll be like, hey, you don't look good, man. Are you okay? It's like, oh, I went out drinking last night. It shows, all right? So those are things that we can look at and they can help us when we get to that point. Driving the stake a little bit further, shock. I mentioned the word. everybody in this room is going to die of shock. All right? It's a crazy concept, but if you really think about it, if you got cancer and you got cachexia, you're going to die from shock. If you're in a car accident, you lose a lot of blood, you're going to die from shock, right? For the most part. All right? But let me ask you, what do we do if you go and you find someone that's in shock? What are the 3 things that we normally do for someone in shock? Huh? Okay, go for it. Say it, what'd you say?
Hit them more,
Uh-huh.
raise their feet,
Uh-huh.
and then I guess make sure they're breathing.
Loosen their clothes. Loosen their clothes, all right? Where did you learn that?
I teach wilderness,
Okay, all right. You teach wilderness survival? All right.
first aid.
Okay, wilderness first aid, all right. Anybody else ever learn that? Nobody? Where'd you learn it at? TV? No. Stayed at a Holiday Inn. No, just over the years picked it up, right? This is what we teach for shock, all right? We don't use it in the hospitals because we got beds that go into reverse Trendelenburg, which to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen anybody use it before. We have bear huggers and all these devices that we could put on somebody that do a lot of this stuff for us. But in real life, if you have someone in shock, which shock just means that they can't get blood to an organ, right? That blood cannot get to the brain, so the organs start turning off, all right? So again, if they're bleeding, it's hemorrhagic shock. If they have sepsis and their blood pressure goes to shit, they're not able to move the blood, so they're in shock. If they have cancer and the tumor's eating all their nutrients and everything and keeping them from getting everything, they're gonna go into shock, all right? If you have a heart attack and your heart can't pump the blood, you're gonna go into shock, all right? So those 3 things, let's look at those 3 things and say, we've already learned some basics. We already know what the most important organ is and we know why. Let's apply it. So let's apply it. Let's apply how those things that we just learned after hundreds of years of learning that, putting a blanket on someone, lifting their feet, and loosening their clothes, how is that gonna save their lives?
You lift their feet, the blood's gonna go to the rest, basically the center of the mass.
All right,
They'll raise the blood pressure.
gravity's gonna bring it down, right? Yeah, what you got?
Shock's basically the body's unable to maintain homeostasis, so you're doing things to help it.
Right, okay.
You can't do it on its own.
Exactly, but how is putting a blanket or raising the feet or loosening up clothes gonna help them?
Just preserving body heat, which they're losing because they can't preserve it.
Mm-hmm.
They can't
I
pump
heard
the
some.
blood as effectively, so you elevate it to keep it
Towards the head, right? Towards the core. All right, I heard some responses here. Regulate the temperature. How's that? So remember we talked about flushing where cute person throws a kiss at you and they flush? What did I say happens at that point? All the blood goes to the surface. What? So the concept is, guys and girls, like I told you all, you want to keep the organ alive, right? You want to keep the organism alive, homeostasis. And the best way of doing that is to keep things from happening. Like 1, I want the brain to get blood, so I'm going to put the feet up, get gravity to kind of push blood to the core. And even if it's hot as shit outside, I'm still going to put a blanket on that person and loosen their skin or loosen their clothes so that they could get fresh air coming in. But I want their body temperatures to go up because, all right, if I don't do anything, blood's going to come to the center and it's going to feed the heart, or it's going to feed the brain, but all the organs are going to be lacking blood. So what's going to happen? Okay, but what are they going to start doing? And then when they don't get oxygen, what are they going to start producing? Lactic acid, right? Mickey, you said that a couple of times. Why is that such a bad thing? All right? Why is lactic acid such a negative? Anybody want to tackle that one?
What's the body's response to excess lactic acid?
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one. That's a good question. All right. Well, let's take a look at this. Back in the 1950s, American Heart Association come up with the kind of guidelines on what to do to stay healthy, right? 30 minutes of this at least once or twice a week will keep you healthy. What is that? Exercise. We already established that when you work out, you build up what? Lactic acid. One of these a day will keep the doctor away. Apple, right? Fruits and vegetables. What's inside of fruits and vegetables? Citric acids, right? All right. Number 1 medication on the market for people that are at higher risk for strokes and heart attack is? Ooh, right? Hell yeah. Who said that? Yes. And what's the key word there? acid, right? So check this out. We have internet when I do that, and I tell people to Google it, and then people are like, everybody's like, I want to be the first. And then they find it like, oh, fuck no. I'm like, oh, is that even English? And it's like, shit, that's alien, man. But you said it right. Acetoacetic acid, all right? So there's got to be something to it, right? Acid, 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 right? In a good way for someone that's a high risk of stroke and heart attack, it saves their lives, right? Working out saves lives. Eating things with certain acids saves lives, all right? What we know, acid actually destroys platelets. Platelets are little plugs. So our blood vessels, they're not just tubes. They actually contract and dilate as needed, right? So if you're on the boat in the middle of the ocean and there's a leak, and you just see water and you still don't see the leak, what are you praying for? Big ass hole the size of a bowling ball, or a small little hole that you can stick your finger in? Small little hole, right? It just makes sense. Well, that's how the body is. It's gonna want to contract and make that hole as small as possible, okay? Whenever you cut yourself. That's why when you start to bleed, it bleeds for a couple of seconds and then it starts to slow down. Next come the platelets, these little plugs that are gonna start to plug the hole, all right? The problem is, if you have high risk of cardiovascular disease for strokes or heart attacks, platelets can kill you because they can cause blockages because of all the inflammation in your body. So we give you aspirin, and that starts to thin your blood. Well, how do we thin blood? Little ninjas chop up your platelets, right? It's called acid. When you work out and you build up small levels of lactic acid, what are you doing? Reducing your platelets, keeping you from having a heart attack or stroke. When you eat an apple, what are you doing? Acids that are going to reduce your risk of heart attack and stroke, all right? The problem is excess. One beer on the weekend, no problem. 15 shots of tequila, maybe a problem if you're not Mexican. All right? So it just depends. So too much acid is going to cause what? Acidosis, which is going to slow down your breathing, slow down your heart rate. But if you're bleeding, if you got shot and you're building up acid, what's going to happen? You'll bleed out faster. Exactly. That's why when someone's in shock, we want to lift up the feet to push blood back to the core so that it gets to the brain. And we want to cover them with a blanket because I want them to get a little bit of hot or a little bit hotter so that they can naturally flush the blood out, because I don't want the skin to be there, being the largest organ in the body with no blood, because it's going to do what? Produce a shitload of lactic acid, right? Because it's the what? Biggest organ in the motherfucking body. Hell yeah, all right? Love it. All right, so what the fuck is blood pressure? You guys look like you know what blood pressure is. Or you don't want to answer. She's laughing, so come on, stand up. Stand up, stand up. Tell us what blood pressure is. All right, who's going to take it? Anybody know what blood pressure is? Do it. Love it. No, stand up and send it. Send it.
It's basically the amount of blood that's filling, like in a pipe.
Okay.
More water means you can push more, but if there's not enough, it's not going to have enough stuff in there for it to be able to push it effectively.
Okay.
That can either be too much or too little, depending on how much is in there.
All right, I like the example with the pipes. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yeah, go for it. Stand up, stand up, stand up. There.
It's got two components, the top number being the pressure when the heart is contracting, and then the bottom number, which is when the heart is at rest.
All right, 100%. So he says there's two numbers. It's true, systolic and diastolic, right? What's a normal? What's a normal blood pressure? 120 over 80. How crazy. It used to be 110 over 70, but we love the motherfucking hamburgers, right? Buttering our bacon and shit like that. Now it's 120 over 80. All right, but you're absolutely right. There's two numbers, and it is very much like a pipe, all right? But I want you to forget all that. And I'm surprised. Most people get really complex when it comes to blood pressure, talking about resistance and vasculature and all this crazy shit, right? And I say, fuck it. I'm going to show you guys the coolest way. And I swear to God, if I see this on YouTube, I know you guys stole that shit from me, all right? Because I'm the only motherfucker that does this, all right? Glove, all right? I'm going to show you blood pressure with a glove. and I swear to you guys, it's gonna make sense. Showed this to a board-certified cardiologist from Columbia University, and he straight out told me after the lecture, he's like, I've written books on blood pressure, and I couldn't fucking comprehend it just the way you showed me with this glove. Like, that's how crazy it is, all right? So if I'm gonna drive, like I drove from Miami here, first thing I wanna look at in my truck is what? Do I have gas, right? So it makes sense to look at the gas. If I'm coming up to somebody and I see blood on the floor, right? Isn't it kind of nice to know how much is left in the tank, right? So how much blood, and if you guys are in my previous class, know the answer, don't say it, but how much blood is in the human body on average? All right, 7 liters. I heard quarts somewhere. 5 quarts? All right. Well, just 5. Right. Yeah, he's like, fuck it. And he said no math in public, so I'm just going to throw a number out there. Fuck it. No units. Pints? All right. So, quart pints. All right. So anybody else? Anybody else want to throw some random number out there? All right. So it's tricky. You guys are right. It's somewhere between 5 and 7 liters, all right, depending on size, right? But you don't need to remember that because I just look at a glove and how many fingers are in a glove. Hell yeah, 5. It depends. All right. So our body, we can't walk around like this all floppy. We need to have blood. I'm not going to use blood because obviously it's gross, but I'm going to fill this up with air. All right. So I'm going to pick a victim. You, sir, with a nice little goatee hair going there. All right. Is that a Van Dyke or a goatee? What's the difference? No, this gentleman here. All right. All right. As best as you can, how much pressure in PSIs, because everybody's changed the tire or air on a tire, right, is in this glove? That's a motherfucking bullshitter. That's what I'm talking about, man. Y'all motherfucking bullshitters. Y'all should be politicians making shit up, man. There's no fucking way you could tell how much pressure's in a glove just by looking at it. All right? How the fuck do I know? Okay, we talked about 120 over 80, and I mentioned 110 over 70, right? If you're a 110 and he's a 120, how do I tell the difference between you two? How do I know that your pressure is less than his pressure? All right, you can use a blood pressure cuff, right? A sphygmomanometer and measure that shit, right? But how many people carry that in their med kits? Honestly, be honest, all right? How many of you guys actually know how to use one? Yeah, a few of you guys, right? Is it easy? Don't you have to put that thing on and use a stethoscope and then listen and like, shh, quiet. Try to hear that change in tones, right? So this is bullshit. You're a big bullshitter, man. Making shit up. There's 5 PSIs in that motherfucker, all right? There's no way to tell, all right? The same way if I come up across someone that's unconscious and there's no blood, I'm gonna assume there's between 5 and 7 liters in this motherfucker, right? That's just my way of thinking, all right? Now, if I'm walking in and you teach survival first aid, right? If I'm surviving and I come across a body of water and I'm thirsty as fuck, what's better to drink from, lake or a river?
They're both bad.
Yeah, okay, but I got no choice. Lake or river?
Running water is better than still.
Huh?
Running water is generally better than
100%, right? So we got to get this blood flowing, right? How do we do that? Huh? Pump, right? So if I add a pump, what happened to that pressure? How many more PSIs did this go up? 15. Oh, fucking bullshitters, right? But can we agree it went up? Hell yeah, all right? Diastolic, systolic. Diastolic, systolic. Diastolic, the lower number, the 80, represents how much blood is in the pipes, right? As long as we haven't lost it. When the heart contracts, that's going to increase the pressure, giving us a higher number, the 120. That is your systolic blood pressure. Now, like I said, even me, after all my fucking training and years of experience, I don't carry it. Well, I have a blood pressure cuff, but I don't carry one on my personal first aid. Is there any other way that I can maybe, yeah? Yeah.
distal.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I forget the number that it cuts off.
Fuck the number. We don't math in public, right?
If you don't have it.
It doesn't matter. We don't math in public, right? But you're right. we can feel that change in pressure. That is a pulse. That's what making a pulse. Yeah. Oh, you're just stretching. I thought you were waving. Hi. All right. So you're absolutely right. All right. Again, boy and girls, I don't judge. So what we've learned is that it doesn't make sense for me to carry a blood pressure because I don't need to know. Unless you've lost a lot of blood, then I don't really need to know. Okay. That's why when I come across somebody and I say, okay, let's play with this theory again. I'm giving you guys a free bullshit card, right? We talked about BLS. Majority of you have taken this class. Hey, buddy, you with me? Hey, buddy, you with me? Hey, buddy, you with me? What's the next step? Check for a pulse, right? Which pulse do we check? Huh?
Wrist first.
Carotid.
More than the carotid.
We
usually. And then you
always.
do the carotid after.
Which one?
You do wrist first and then carotid if you don't.
I've never heard that before. That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. All right. We always check the carotids. All right. And then you ask yourself, well, what's the most important organ? Brain. Don't you want to check if blood's going to that motherfucker? Hell yeah. All right. So that's again why I'm solidifying these concepts into you guys. We knew this when we were smart, when we were putting people on the fucking moon, and we actually did shit by paper and this motherfucker right here, we knew things and we understood things. It's just people started you don't know how many times I walked into my classes when I was doing my PhD and I'm like, look, motherfucker, and they're like, why the fuck did you add all these big words, man? Like, this is just making it more complex. Like, well, we're doctors. We got to make this smarter. It's like, bullshit, right? So we make it harder than what it has to be. But when you make it simple, it's beautiful, right? So pulse can tell us how strong the pressure is, right? Because at the end of the day, what is the pulse telling us? How strong is who? The heart. And if it's not working, what can we do? We could pump further, right? So back to my freaking Tupac days, I'm gonna rap a little bit. What's closer to my heart, my nose or my toes? My nose, right? So is it more work or less work for my heart to put blood here than it is over there? It takes less work here, right? Because if I'm throwing you a ball, it's easy, but if I have to throw it all the fuck back there, it's gonna be more energy, right? So if I check your pedal pulse, which is the pulse farthest away, and you have it, what does that tell me about your heart? Man, it's pretty damn strong, right? But if I don't feel it, and I come up to, let's just say your radial pulse, right? And I feel it there, is your heart strong? It's not bad. I mean, it's able to generate that pulse, but it just can't generate this one, so it's getting a little bit weaker, right? And if I don't feel that pulse, but I feel the one in the neck, like small, medium, high kind of thingy, like maybe the worst is when it's getting less and less, because obviously that's telling me what? The heart's getting tired, right? Because like anything, we need to work and then we're going to get tired, so we need a break, all right? So circulation, it's a very important thing. We need to get that blood flowing, all right? So there are numbers. If you're a 120 and you're a 110, over 70 and 80, I don't care about the diastolic number. Even if you were bleeding and I put a tourniquet on, I don't care about that lower number. What I care about is that higher number, all right? I care about, I'm not gonna say you have a 110 and you have a 120. I'm just gonna give everybody 100. And the way I do that is by feeling the pedal pulse. So if I feel the pedal pulse and you have it, what do I give you? 100 over P. That means you have a good pulse, yeah. It's tricky. I'll show you guys in the breaks tomorrow when we're doing hands-on, so that way you guys can actually feel them on each other.
And the other one was radial?
So then you got the radial and the femoral. All right, so don't get excited, but picture me in a Speedo, all right? All right, so from my hip bone to the pubic bone right above my junk, between those two, in that fold of your leg, don't do it. It's just weird when people start doing it to themselves. Like, but if you put your finger in there, you put your two fingers in there, you'll actually start to feel a pulse. That's your femoral pulse. Your femoral pulse or your femoral arteries are about the size of a thumb. All right? That is pretty damn close to your radial pulse as far as distance away from your heart. So if your pedal pulse, which is near your toes, is 100, the pulse between your arms and your wrist and your junk is about 70, 80. What does that mean? It takes 80 over something to generate those pulses. The neck is about 60, so half of what the 120 is, all right? So don't worry about the numbers. Again, we don't math in public. All we know is that if I feel someone with a pedal pulse, what can I say about their heart? Nice and strong. Great, let's move on, all right? If they don't have it and they don't have the wrist pulses, but they have a carotid pulse, it's weak. They need a little bit special attention, right? If they don't have this pulse, they're dead. They're dead, and we got to fix that, right? Now we start doing compressions. We start doing stuff, okay? So these are where all the pulses are at. Again, we're going to do this tomorrow, so we'll find pulses tomorrow. All right. So what is a medic? A medic is someone that's willing to do something, all right? So again, there's no legal obligation. I actually prefer teaching these classes than actually certifying people with like actual like licensure, because at the end of the day, liability. And I'm telling you this right now, how many of y'all are gonna work in a position where you need to use medical, like as part of your job? Oh, wow, you're a nurse, right? And then, yeah, and then doctor. All right, and then I had someone over here. Yeah, part of your job? The what's that? Okay, all right, yeah, so you'll need it. But I had people that, oh yeah, what you got? Okay, yes, you're gonna need it. In their roles as like, in a good example, EMT. EMT has a scope of practice. If you do something outside that scope of practice, who's gonna get in trouble? You are, right? So if I teach you how to cut into someone's throat and put an airway in, even though I taught you, can you do it? Depends. Depends. Not when you're on duty. All right. Of course, not cutting into somebody. But a lot of the stuff that we're teaching on the tactical side, like chest seals, tourniquets, and stuff like that, you can do as far as if you're a good Samaritan. So good Samaritan laws will cover you as long as you're not doing any gross negligence, meaning you're not purposely fucking getting a needle and stabbing someone's chest to release the air pressure, or digital thoracotomy to release the air or the blood from their lungs. Like, unless you're doing some, if you're just putting a plastic and an occlusive seal or putting on a tourniquet, you're fine, all right? The problem is when you start getting into licensure and you become a paramedic and you go work as like a executive protection or a bodyguard for like a high net worth client, and you're not allowed to do any of that because you're no longer a good Samaritan, you're an employee. And unless you were contracted for that and you're licensed and they have a medical staff that's gonna be your oversight, you can't do it and you're gonna get in trouble. So that's where I tell patients, I tell people, it's better to get certified like this because it's just a certification. You're not licensed to do something. You know, you don't have any liability in that, all right? So a medic is just someone that's willing to do something, okay? That's someone that sees something and says, I can help, and they're willing to go do it, all right? You guys would not believe how hard that is, and I get it. I've been there. So true story, 2022, took my family to Cancun, Mexico, all right? Wife was about 4 months pregnant, had my little girl. She was about 4 years old at the time. And I was in such a vacation mode on the way back. We had to drive an hour from the resort to the airport. We came early, checked in through customs, we're good. I'm in shorts and sandals because I'm like, hell yeah, Mickey's on vacation mode, right? And you guys can look this up. I swear to God, people are like, man, Mickey's such a bullshitter. And I swear to God, you can Google this shit. So no shit. They have a Guy Fieri. I don't know if you guys know who that is, that food channel guy. He has a restaurant there. So I'm like, fuck it, we got like 4 hours before we gotta fly. Let's go grab something to eat. So we're having lunch, and I'm like, let's go check the terminal, see what's going on, see where we gotta go. So I'm pushing my baby in my stroller, got my pregnant wife. The moment we do the corner, like literally, like just like this is the edge, big old sound. We're like, what the fuck? And I just see about 100 people running towards us. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm seeing everybody freaking out. And my wife's freaking out. My kid's in the stroller screaming. And I push them off to the side. And I just stopped and I started looking. What the fuck is going on? And all I can hear is people, they're shooting, they're shooting, they're shooting. The cartels are breaking into the airport. And I'm all like, hell yeah. like it's Christmas Eve and it's fucking Nagasaki fucking Square, whatever the fuck it is, you know? And I swear to God, man, I'm like, I looked at my wife and she's like, this motherfucker, like, what is he gonna do? And I seriously, I looked around and I saw this little bodega shop, like those little fucking little shops that sell the pillows and shit like that. And I see like people running in there, getting behind the fucking counters, man. I'm like, little, where the fucking potato chips are. I'm like, motherfucker. And I look at the lady, like, where's the storage? She's like, aquí. I was like, open that motherfucker. Start shoving people in there, start getting people in. I'm like, come here. And I tell the lady, where's the key for the thing? And she's like, here. And I put my wife in there, and I swear to God, I look at her, I was like, I'll be right back. And she's like, fucking, get in here, and your kid and your wife in here. I was like, I'll be right back. I can't just leave you guys. So I swear to God, I went out there, I lowered the gate thingy, and I slid the key into the lake because it has little holes, and I said, get in the closet, don't open it until the police come in. And she's just like, all right. I found a fucking fire hydrant, man. I'm like, I get this motherfucker. And I'm like in tactical flip-flops, like, fuck yeah, man. Like, I can't wait to see this in the news tonight, man. Motherfucking Americano with the fucking fire hydrant tackles the fire and shit like that, right? So, a fire hydrant, that's all that was there. I mean, you're looking around. Bullshit. Yeah. Well, extinguisher, yeah, there we go. Extinguisher, there you go, yeah. Words, English, motherfucker, so fancy. So I get this, and I'm like, literally like, fuck yeah, man, this is it. As I looked out, I could see. That's why I say a medic is someone that's willing to do something. And it's okay. It's okay if you're not that person right now. It's okay. Like there's 100%. Because I could look and I would see people literally like behind the trash can crying. Like in the open. I'm like, you're not even covered by anything. But they let fear take over their body so much that for them was right at the moment. And as soon as I was like, pick that motherfucker up. I was like, hell yeah. And I was walking, fucking police come in. I was like, God damn it, motherfucker. Fuck. And I was like, gotta do my shit, man. And then, they're like coming, like looking around and like they're full blown like tactical Mexican policia and shit like that. And I'm like, all right. And I was like, hey, medico, y'all need help? And they're like, no, come. Like, I was like, all right. So I started following them. We found one trail of blood, all right? One trail of blood that went into the restroom. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, man. I got to do some medicina in this motherfucker. Hell yeah. We go in there. Guy's on the fucking stall like this with the freaking shirt on his fucking head. I'm like, what happened? Gunshot? No. Some old lady in a freaking walker pushed him and like he hit his head on the fucking chair. I was like, God, man, this is getting worse, man. It's like my cool story's getting worse. So we get stalled there for like 4 hours, and then long story short, it was a sign that fell over, and everybody freaked out. It was like it wasn't really the FARC and shit like that, or no, it wasn't the cartels, but yeah, my wife, she was so pissed at me. She's like, can't believe you fucking left us there, and I was like, but that's what a medic is, all right? So there's 3 types of patients. Patient's gonna die no matter what the fuck you do, right? And you just gotta live with it. That is the patient that is gonna haunt us for the rest of our life. And there's the patient that's gonna live no matter how much you fuck it up, all right? That's that lucky son of a bitch, all right? And then you've got that third patient. If you do the right thing at the right time, you save their lives, all right? And that's why you guys are here to become medics, all right? So pay attention, take a look at this video, and tell me how many things you see going wrong, all right? Car on fire. He's getting robbed. That was Miami, by the way. Yeah. All right, so like I said, a lot of you can't focus on one thing because how many of y'all were caught up on that shirtless dude with the flames? Like, yeah, you guys were. Yeah, you were like hypnotized. We're like, hell yeah, he's got his shirt off, and then all of a sudden, bam, surprise, motherfucker! Shit came out from the side, right? Like 2 velociraptors. So yeah, again, that's what I'm trying to teach you guys. Reality. It's okay to bubble yourselves, but keep it open. Try to look at every little detail, all right? Any questions so far before we start pushing forward? That's a lot, I know. What's the most important organ in the body? Brain. Why? Because if you don't get blood to the brain, what happens? You start taking it from others, right? And then when you steal the blood from someone else, what's going to happen to them? Lactic acid. Blood's going to become acidotic. You're going to start killing platelets. If you bleed, you're going to bleed a lot, and then you could die from what? Bleeding out, right? Cool? Makes sense? Mentality, what do we have there? What do you see on that screen, sir? Fear. Huh? Fear, but what is that? Polar bear, yes. Everybody has a different vision. It's either giant hamster, looking polar bear, squirrel, whatever you want to make it, right? Everybody's got their own demons, all right? So the way I look at it is like this. Let's be real, okay? If you're on a beach like this, and you're calm, relaxed, driving your little convertible, and you get a flat tire, is that stressful? Hell yeah, right? But is it manageable? Hey, just jack up your car, undo the tire, pull it out, right? Put a new one and get on your way, right? But what if a bear comes out? Shit got real, right? Really fast, okay? What are you gonna do? Shoot, you got a gun? All right, you're going to the beach with your gun. All right, hopefully you're prepared, right? Plan, prepare, execute. Reality is, whenever something like that happens, when it's easy, even though it's stressful, for us to change our tires, right? However, whenever extreme levels of stress happen, like an alligator or a bear coming out, we go into what's called the sympathetic response. Someone said autonomic, this is the sympathetic. Exactly. You're going to start to, you're one of two things. You're either going to fight the bear or you're going to take off running. Show of hands, who's going to fight that motherfucker? Lying motherfuckers, man. Lying motherfucking bullshitters. He ain't fighting no bear. All right. So reality is you're probably going to run. So because of that, your eyes are actually, your pupils are going to open up to let in more light so that you could see things. You're going to start to breathe more shallow to bring in more oxygen, right? Your muscles are going to tense up so that you could fight that motherfucker or run as fast as you can, right? A lot of people will shit themselves. You know why? Let go of extra weight. Boop. All right, now I can run. 10 pounds lighter. Hell yeah, all right? Honest truth, right? Now, the thing is, would it be feasible for you to be able to put the lug nuts back on your tire to get the hell out of there? Nope. Anybody ever scare you? You get a little shake. Anytime you're nervous or scared like that, your hands are going to tremble. That is a normal response. I expect it to happen when I'm under high levels of stress. That's why we train and train and train to build that muscle memory, because I know it's going to happen, right? Now, impossible for me to put a lug nut on a fucking tire, but not impossible to pick up a freaking crowbar and bear, mad, hit, run, hell yeah, you know? Like you go into that caveman mindset. Even better if you got your friend with you, because it's like, I don't have to be faster than a bear, I just have to be faster than you, hell yeah, you know? Hit him on the leg and run, all right? So those things can be accomplished easy. It's easy for you to pick up something, gross movements like that, all right? When we start getting into the hands-on, think about it like that, all right? Now, this is my technique to kind of reprogram your minds. Think of someone you love, all right? I know it's hard, but think of someone you love. I want you to pretend you're doing it on them, all right? Because something bad happened. And the reward is, boom, they get to live, right? They get to live the rest of their lives happy and the way they want to, okay? That's gonna help you when you build your muscle memory, because our brain works off of certain cues to build habits, all right? So we'll get into that when we start doing those, all right? So you gotta be like the Powerpuff Girls and smack the shit out of that bear. Get going, right? Any questions up to this point? Yeah, oh, you know, Chris, all right. I know it's a lot of stuff, but so plan, prepare, execute. Something's supposed to happen. There we go. All right. Point of wound care, okay? So when I'm talking about point of wound care, let me see, point of wound care. That's more of the liability. I don't want to go into this right away. We kind of went into this, but I'll go into that later. Legal considerations. Again, Good Samaritan laws, tricky, especially when it comes to the BLS stuff. How many of you guys have ever had to perform BLS on anybody? Has anybody ever had to? Yeah. You want to share something? Yeah.
My barber coded on me. It was barber shop.
All right.
I did chest compressions, mouth to mouth, the whole everything. It
Yeah.
was wild.
Yeah.
I've done CPR a bunch of residency in the trauma bay, but it's quite different when it's a friend.
Yeah, exactly. It's different from when it's someone you know and it's outside the hospital, right? Yeah. Had some other ones over here.
Yeah, we were at a scout camp, and the range master, we showed up early, and he was laying on the floor.
Oh.
Yeah, so we had 4 scouts do CPR on him. We sent 4 to go get.
Nice.
The nearest phone was at the main lodge,
Uh,
so they worked on it for about 2 hours.
he made it, or?
Yeah. Next
Good.
day we went back, and his wife made us all cookies.
Probably the same ones that put him in that position, right? Yeah. Had some hands over here.
Yeah, my mother-in-law coded, and my son and I had to do CPR on her until the first responders showed up.
Yeah.
And what was hard about it was, she was 20 years older than I am, and she was kind of a smallish woman. And so as you're doing chest compressions, you could feel the ribs break.
Yeah. That's something that happens. Don't be afraid, please. Don't let the legal part get into your mind that, oh, I have to protect myself legally, okay? Because like I said, for the most of y'all, you are not licensed providers, and I don't want this to be one of those barriers. And that's kind of what I've been pushing a little bit more, because those of us that have taken the class before, this is the difference in what I'm doing this year. I know a lot of stuff has been going on a lot around the United States and around the world. And one of my goal is to teach you guys, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of these classes are geared, and I get it. Like, I get it. You pay a lot of money to go to these courses, and they want to make you feel like a medic for those 4 or 5 days where, you're going to wear camouflage and you'll do cool things like throw the gauze behind you and look cool and do it like tactical and even like run around and shit like that, right? I get it. But they forget to tell you like the reality of shit where you might be at church and something happens and it's blocked off by police, and police ain't gonna say like, oh, you got a first aid kit in your car with your gun and your extra mags? Yeah, go ahead, buddy, go in and grab that shit. No, you're gonna be like, motherfucker, I should have had my bag with me like right here, but it's in my trunk and I could see it right there, all right? Because that's the reality of it. 2017, unfortunately, we had a major event happen in Florida, Parkland. Do y'all remember Parkland? So that's kind of how I got in with this last group that used to come teach the class. I actually created the curriculum, part of the curriculum for them. We got contracted to train all the fire rescue that were involved in Parkland, all right? So having my training in special operations and defense analysis, that's what my bachelor's in defense analysis. So I was able to see the logistics of it, and it's not pretty, like a lot of people have the tools, just not with them. You know what I mean? Like, how many of y'all really walk around with a tourniquet in your pocket all the time? Yeah. Who goes to dinner with you go to dinner with a first aid kit in your pocket ready to go?
I got an ankle kit. I got eye track,
Yeah, but is it every time, like all the time? Yeah, man, hard, and I give you credit for that, because that's hard. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm in Miami, and my wife's like, hey, let's go to this nice restaurant. You're like, damn it, fucking trying to put shit in. You're like, fuck, man, I look all weird because I got clothes on and I got all this shit on my belt and everything like that. And sometimes it's like easier to just say, oh, I'm gonna leave that in the truck. I'm gonna put this in the car. And you're like, okay, and now you're at dinner, like, fucking, what do I have? I have a fork, tactical fucking shrimp fork. If a motherfucker comes in, stab him in the eye, like obviously it's hard to be prepared all the time, right? So that's why I'm gearing it a little bit more towards improvise. So we're gonna be learning like how to improvise and make a lot of the stuff, okay? So, but the legal part of it, I want you guys to be okay with knowing that as long as you don't do something stupid, like don't freaking try to like cut someone's fucking, throat or anything like that. Don't do anything weird like that. You'll be covered, all right? So these are just some Good Samaritan laws. I could pass these along. This is a good mobile app. You guys could take a picture of this if you guys have your smart devices. American Red Cross has this first aid app. It works both for iPhone and Android. Because other than the people that are nurses and doctors, how many of y'all have advanced medical degrees and like remember everything? I don't. And it's a great app. I have it even on my phone. Let's see if I have it here. ARC. came off, but it's a great app because when you download it, if someone's having an allergic reaction or someone's having a headache or an upset stomach, you can literally click on there and it's icons and you go through things and you'd be like, okay, I get it. And a lot of them will even tell you where the nearest hospitals are. So they use GPS and they'll be like, boom, because who knows where the nearest hospital is here? Are you from here? Exactly. If you're from here, you probably know. But I know when I came in, there was a hospital like by that school thingy. Like there was a hospital down there, or at least I saw the big H for hospital. But yeah, it's nice to know where the nearest hospitals are at, okay? So that's a good one. And then health settings. The health settings on your phones. How many people know about that? Y'all know about the health settings on your phones? So Android's a little bit different. I'm not 100% on how the Android is one, but all iPhones have a health system on them. And what I mean by that, if someone tries to open my phone other than me, hopefully the person doesn't look like me and it opens. So when you try to open it,
How we open this?
okay, try to swipe
yeah,
up.
It's an iPhone, yeah.
Yeah, swipe up.
I have no clue how to open it.
Yeah, just swipe up or you.
Doesn't work.
Let's see if it opens. Okay, so you see.
That's why everybody in my house.
Who's got an
uses
iPhone? You
Android.
got an iPhone? No, iPhone? All right, try to open my phone. Okay, at the bottom, click emergency. All right. So when someone other than the user tries to open your iPhone, at the bottom it says emergency. You click on that and you get this white screen. That allows you to do emergency calls, but there's a little red icon that says medical ID. You click on that and you can preload it with all your information. You could put down any allergies, any medications you're taking, next of kin, who do you want notified. All of that goes in there, all right? Nice tool because you can, if you do have an allergy to something, especially a medication, I think that's important to know before I start just dumping stuff inside of you, all right? So that's something cool that I like to throw out there so you guys get, if you guys get that on there, it helps. Oh yeah. So when to use technology and not. Sir, I'm bleeding really bad. Can you call me an ambulance? What is Siri gonna say? From now on, I'm gonna call you an ambulance. Okay. Is that ever? All right, so this is true. 90% of all fatalities from traumatic wounds die before they reach definitive medical care. All right, so point of wound care is the responsibility of us as the individuals that are working with them. Get trained, get equipped, and have a plan. So I'm going to share something with you guys. Again, everything I share, honest to God, true stories. I don't make bullshit up. So 2008, I was in
Emergency info.
You got an emergency? You got to take it. All right, I'll share this story and then we'll take a little break, all right? So 2008, I'm in Afghanistan. I was still on a team that was doing some cool shit in Afghanistan, but I was fortunate enough that I had to go back to Kandahar because like when we're SF teams in those days, we literally like lived in the desert and it was like fucking like not like the big bases like Kandahar that had fucking Pizza Hut and Burger King. Like we lived in like really bad conditions. But I got to go back to Kandahar. So I go back to Kandahar. And that night, one of the other teams was doing a mission and they got hit hard. So one of the guys got KIA. Really good friend of mine. Was one of hard night for me because I knew the guy. The guy was actually first guy to ever offer me a job. He was a team sergeant. And then another guy got shot in the leg. And then their third guy got shot in the shoulder. So Benny, the medic, got shot in the shoulder. Him and the interpreter were pinned down and they couldn't move. It got to the point to where they, from their account, were pretty much gonna like blow themselves up if the bad guys overran them, all right? A guy by the name of Brendan O'Connor, a good friend of mine, took off all his shit, low crawled to them and dragged them to safety, was put in for the Medal of Honor. Unfortunately, it was downgraded to the Distinguished Service Cross, which is the second highest medal. But the reason I share this with you is because me and this other, one of the ASTs, one of the people that helped on the base there, went to go pick up the bodies of our friend that was killed. When we left, it was 1 killed, 2 injured. When I got on the flight line, you know, this is when we did stuff at night, I just see a bunch of soldiers yelling and screaming, person's on the floor trying to comfort them. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So they take us into this little morgue area. And like I said, you know, like we're SF, so we get a little bit more privilege. We get to do more stuff. So I go in there and I'm like trying to keep myself in peace, you know, trying to like, hey man, I got to take stuff off my buddy now that, you know, I got to take back to the base because this is our sensitive items. And I look over and there's another body. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? And the guy there's like, oh, you didn't hear? And I was like, what? He's like, that was the kid that got shot in the leg. I was like, what? Like, how the fuck do you die from that? You know, like we got tourniquets, you know? And like, yeah, the medic on the ground put a tourniquet on him. But when they put him on the helicopter, it wasn't rechecked and it came loose and he bled out. And I'm like, fuck, man, like, damn, that sucks. He's like, no, he's National Guard and his wife's outside. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, yep. So something as simple as a tourniquet, you might have it, you might use it, but we have to be smart about it. We got to go back and check, all right? So my hospital, they tried to do a wilderness course. They hired this guy from Michigan who came down and gave the class, $1,000 a day. He got up there wearing 5'11" from head to toe, and he even did the little walks and like fucking pointed at people with his hand. But the moment he opened his mouth, I was like, bullshit, motherfucker, bullshit. All right, because I knew he'd never done it in life, and I knew he was going to kill people. All right, we're going to be moving on to the next evolution outside and doing some good stuff, all right? Today, like again, I'm just trying to get you guys different mindsets. I really appreciate you guys staying awake. I know it's a lot of stuff. Believe it or not, it might not seem like you guys learned a lot, but it's pre-programming for what's to come. When we start getting into the tourniquets, when we start getting into chest seals and applying all these things, it's really gonna make a difference when you guys kind of take a step and like, oh yeah, you know, what am I doing? Why am I doing this, all right? I love that we were getting a lot of why questions, all right? That's good. That tells me that we're in the right direction, okay? I know it feels a little slow, kind of like, yeah, launching you guys little birds, learning how to fly and shit like that. But trust me, at the end of this training, you're gonna be like, hell yeah, I got it, all right? You guys, I love it. I love getting those phone calls at 2 or 3 in the morning. We're like, man, I just freaking put a tourniquet on a bleeder, or a kid was choking and wasn't happy because they were choking, but because I saved their lives, right? So those are great things, okay? So from this point, I think they want you guys to go down to the range. We'll meet up with Mick and the team out there, all right? Any questions before we head out, though, on the medical side? So we talked about there's about 5 liters of blood, all right? If you lose 1 liter of blood and you do it right, you end up with a free movie ticket and an orange juice, all right? That's about what you donate when you go donate blood, all right? When you lose 2 liters of blood, your sympathetic response kicks in a little bit further, kind of that fight to flight, and it becomes difficult for you to make decisions, not impossible to make decisions. And there's some videos that I'll play again tomorrow. But once you get to that 2.5 to 3 liters, now you're at half your volume. When you start getting into those numbers, it's not efficient for your body to keep you awake, so it'll knock you out, it'll pass you out. So you're not necessarily dead, but you're dying, all right? So that's where it's really important for us to keep the blood in. So just to give you guys a foreshadowing of what's gonna happen tomorrow, we're gonna start getting practicals into like getting tourniquets on, and we're gonna meet time, you know, crunches. And you'll see that those are 30 seconds, because 30 seconds is what it takes for you to lose enough volume for you to pass out. If you're passed out, the idea is for you to be able to treat yourself. And if you're passed out, you're not gonna be able to do it, okay? So that's why it's self-aid, buddy aid, and then first aid, okay? Those are kind of what we're gonna get into. But I really wanted you guys to start thinking of what's the most important, because at the end of the day, if I save that to the end, you've already had a whole fucking bunch of shit thrown at you, and then throwing that at the end on the mentality, that's the last thing that's gonna be on your mind. But if I say, hey, this is the mentality, this is what I want you guys to think, now you're gonna be able to apply it. Because if you got 3 people and one person has a brain injury, is that important? What can we do about it? Nothing, right? But if another person's in shock, the other one needs CPR, those are 2 people I can save, as opposed to focusing on one and having 2 other people die, all right? It's a sad reality of it, but that's all trauma. That's how it is, and I'm gonna share this and then we'll go on. When I did the assessment for Parkland, I'll show you guys the list. 9 out of the 17 kids that were shot and killed in Parkland could have been saved with what you guys are gonna learn here in the next few days, all right? When I did the cost analysis, it would have been about $700 today, you don't know how hard it is when I go to schools. Like my daughter was in a private school, and I went to the principal and I was like, "Yeah, I want to offer you guys a training for free. I want to donate tourniquets, but I think you guys need a kit that does this, and it's going to be about $1,000." You know what they told me? They were like, "Nope, not in the budget." And I'm like, "Look, ma'am, I know it's not in the budget, but I worked with the Parkland when this happened, and $700 would have saved 9 kids. I'll see if I could get it." And it's hard to try to get stuff like that up front. Again, I'm just being real with you guys. This is the reality of what's really out there. You know, like, don't expect anybody to go save you. You dial 911, good luck. It's you. And the reality is, money's gonna do a lot of that talking. So when I go to these places, I'm like, "Hey, this is how much you need. This is what it's gonna cost you." A lot of people are saying no. So, you know, that's what I want to get you guys to be able to think critically, to be able to say, how many can I save? Because I know I'm not going to be able to save everybody. People are going to die whether we like it or not. People are going to be saved if we could do the right thing, and people are going to live if we fuck it up. Either way, you know. But we just got to try to maximize that number. Okay.